Today, we're diving into one of the greatest mystery puzzles ever written, a story where the truth itself is the real victim. We're going to break down Akutagawa Ryūnosuke's incredible short story, In a Grove, which asks a question that seems simple but is basically impossible to answer.
So get this, a samurai is dead in the woods. Pretty standard murder mystery setup, right? Well, not exactly. Because here's the thing, 3 different people confess to killing him. You've got the notorious bandit who attacked the couple. You've got the samurai's wife. And believe it or not, you've even got the ghost of the dead samurai speaking through a medium. All 3 say, I did it. So, who's actually telling the truth?
Okay, before we even try to untangle that web of lies, we've got to start with what we actually know for sure. Every good investigation starts with a crime scene, and this one begins with a pretty grim discovery deep inside a secluded grove. The first person to talk is the woodcutter, who stumbled upon the body, and his description is just so vivid, it kind of sticks with you. He talks about the deep crimson on the leaves and a single horsefly on the wound. It's this kind of detail that pulls the story out of legend and grounds it in a very cold, very real moment. This is our ground zero. The one thing nobody disputes. A man is dead. So if we're just looking at the hard evidence, what do we have? We've got the victim, stabbed once in the chest. We've got the location, way off the main road. The only clues left behind are a rope and a woman's comb. Oh, and the ground is all trampled, which definitely points to a struggle. These are our puzzle pieces, you know? The objects, they don't lie. The people, on the other hand, well, that's a whole different story.
All right, let's zoom out a bit from the body itself. What did other people see? We have a few witness accounts that help us build a solid timeline of events, a foundation of what we think are undisputed facts, right before all the confessions throw everything into chaos. This timeline is our anchor, right? A priest confirms he saw the couple alive and traveling just the day before. An officer confirms he caught our main suspect, the infamous bandit Tajimaru, last night. And of course, the woodcutter found the body this morning. It's all chronological, it all seems to check out. Honestly, it's starting to look like a pretty straightforward case. And with that, our cast of characters is set. We've got the victim, Takahiro, a 26-year-old samurai. We've got his wife, Masago, who's only 19. And then we have our supposed villain, the feared bandit Tajimaru. The players are in position. Now it's time for the stories to begin.
And right here, this is the exact moment our nice, neat, straightforward case just completely blows up. Because we're about to hear 3 totally different, totally contradictory, but somehow equally convincing confessions for the exact same murder. So, first up to the plate is the bandit Tajimaru. He's already been captured, and he's not just admitting he did it, he's practically bragging about it. But what's really crucial here is how he says it all went down.
I mean, just listen to the pride in that. Tajimaru's story isn't just a confession, it's an epic. He claims that after assaulting the wife, he honorably untied the husband so they could fight a fair duel. He says it was a legendary sword fight that went on for more than 20 passes. In his version, he isn't just some murderer who stabbed a guy in the back. No, he's a magnificent warrior who bested another great swordsman. That's the image he needs to project.
Okay, next we hear from the wife, Masago. Her testimony comes from a temple, where she's fled in a state of crisis, and her story is completely different. It's all about shame, despair, and one terrifying decision. Wow, what a shift, right? In her version, after the assault, she looks to her husband, probably for some kind of help or comfort, but all she gets is this cold, judging stare, a look of pure contempt. That look just breaks her. Filled with this unbearable shame and rage at his judgment, she says she's the one who grabbed the dagger and killed him. In her story, she's not a passive victim, she's a tragic figure driven to murder. And just when you think it can't get any weirder, it does. Our final testimony comes from beyond the grave. The dead samurai himself, Takahiro, speaks through a medium to tell us how he died. So, according to the ghost of the husband, the real story is one of ultimate betrayal. He claims that after the assault, his wife actually chose the bandit over him, telling the attacker to take her with him. And for a samurai, that shame, that betrayal, was just too much to bear. So, he says, he took the dagger himself and committed suicide. His death wasn't a murder or a defeat in a duel. It was a noble act to escape dishonor.
Okay, let's pause. A duel to the death, a murder of shame, and a suicide of betrayal. 3 confessions, 3 self-proclaimed killers, 1 dead body. How is that even possible?
It's time to break down what's really going on here.
I mean, this is the real question, isn't it? Think about it for a second. In most cases, confessing to a murder is a death sentence. Nobody has to confess. Yet all three of them are fighting to take the blame. So why? Why are they so desperate to be the killer? The answer has nothing to do with what actually happened, and everything to do with why they need their version to be the truth.
When you lay it all out like this, a pattern starts to emerge. The bandit's story makes him a legendary swordsman, not a common criminal. The wife's story casts her as a decisive, tragic woman, not a helpless victim. And the husband's story lets him die an honorable samurai's death by his own hand, not as a defeated man. You see? Each story is designed to serve the ego of the person telling it.
And that's when it clicks. They're all lying to save something they value more than their own lives, their self-image, their honor, their pride. It's better to go down in history as a formidable killer, a tragic heroine, or a noble suicide than to be remembered as a coward, a shamed woman, or a cuckolded husband. This confession isn't about truth. It's their last-ditch effort to control their own story.
What's just incredible is that this little short story, written way back in 1922, has completely changed the way we talk and think about the very nature of truth itself.
Yeah, this story is so famous, it actually gave its name to a real-world phenomenon, the Rashomon effect. You've seen it a million times. It's what happens when different eyewitnesses to the same event give completely different, but still believable accounts. You see it play out in courtrooms, in the news, even in simple arguments between friends. That's the Rashomon effect.
And that brings us to the story's powerful and maybe a little unsettling conclusion. In a Grove suggests that maybe a single objective truth is impossible to find. Why? Because we're all unreliable narrators. Our memories aren't perfect recordings. They're stories we tell ourselves, shaped and filtered through our egos, our fears, and our desperate need to be the hero of our own lives.
And that leaves us with this one last haunting question. The story never actually tells us who did it. Maybe they were all lying. And it forces you to wonder, if every story we tell is designed to make us look good, to cast us in the leading role, how can we ever really know what happened? How can we even trust our own memories?